Helen had never been one for bright colors. Her wardrobe had always leaned toward the safe shades, navy, beige, soft grays that blended into the background like wallpaper. But on the morning she decided to leave, she pulled the yellow scarf from the back of the closet, a gift from Paul years ago, still in its tissue paper, the tag still attached. She tied it around her neck and looked in the mirror. The colors startled her. It was the first time in decades she hadn't immediately reached to take something off. They had left her behind like an afterthought. "You're too old for long flights, Grandma," her son David had said, patting her shoulder as if she were a child. "Just watch the house. We'll send pictures." His wife Laura had nodded, already thinking about Greek beaches and fresh octopus. The grandchildren, Amelia with her teenage eye rolls, and the younger one, who still hugged her like she meant it, had raved from the driveway oblivious. Helen had waved back, smiling the way she always did when she felt invisible. She didn't argue. She never argued. That was her role, the dependable one, the one who stayed. But the next morning she found the plane tickets in the mailbox. Athens. 4 seats together, no name for her. The travel agency envelope was still sealed, unstamped, as if the universe itself had decided to hand her the choice. She stared at them for a long minute. Then she made tea. Her hands shook as she poured the boiling water. She called the agency. "I'd like to cancel these tickets," she told the woman on the phone. "Can I ask why, ma'am?" "No," Helen said quietly. "Just cancel them." After the call, she opened the drawer where she kept her passport. It was still valid. She had money in savings, no debts, no one who truly needed her anymore. She booked a one-way ticket to Athens, aisle seat, 1 person. When she told her neighbor, Carol, she was going away for a while, Carol's eyebrows shot up. "You? Traveling alone?" "Just a little trip," Helen said. She packed light. Comfortable shoes, the navy dress she hadn't worn since Paul's funeral, her best scarf, the yellow one. She left the house at dawn, locked the door, and didn't look back. Athens was louder and warmer than she remembered from photographs. She took a taxi to a small pension off a side street, checked in under her own name, and sat on the edge of the bed staring at the tiled floor. She didn't cry. Grief doesn't always look like tears. Sometimes it's just sitting still, remembering all the times you smiled through being unwanted. She walked the city slowly, found a bakery that smelled of fresh bread and sesame, ordered olives and bread and ate them on a bench, watching young couples laugh and take selfies. No one stared at her. No one told her she was too old. For the first time in years, she felt the absence of expectation like a gift. That's when she met Rosalie. It started over breakfast. Helen was buttering toast with more care than necessary. Across the table, a woman about her age, silver hair in a neat bun, sharp eyes behind half-moon glasses, looked up from her coffee. "You use too much butter," the woman said. Helen glanced up, amused. "Better than too little." The woman nodded. "Fair point." Her name was Rosalie, retired principal from Lyon, widowed, traveling alone. They began walking together in the mornings, not far, just through the quieter streets. Rosalie noticed things: a broken shutter painted lilac, a cat sleeping in a doorway, the way the light hit the white walls of Anafiotica. She didn't take pictures, she just looked. At lunch one day, under a vine-covered terrace, Rosalie asked about Helen's family. "They're fine," Helen said. "They just thought I was too old to travel." Rosalie sipped her wine. "And yet here you are." Here she was. They went to Florence next, then Lisbon, then Seville. Each city peeled back another layer of the woman Helen had become so used to being: quiet, accommodating, invisible. In Seville, she bought the yellow scarf again, this time a brighter one from a market stall, and tied it in her hair like a ribbon she'd earned. She danced in a bar that wasn't meant for women her age, moving to music she didn't know, laughing when her knees protested. Rosalie danced with her. They stayed until the lights came up. She stopped checking her phone so often. The messages from David and Laura piled up. "Where are you? Are you okay? The kids miss you." But they felt distant, like voices from another life. She sent Amelia a postcard from Lisbon, then a photo from Seville. Amelia replied with hearts and questions. She didn't tell her parents where she was. She wasn't hiding, she was just done explaining. In Cadiz, on the beach at dusk, she recorded a voice memo for David. She spoke calmly, without anger. "I spent most of my life waiting to be asked, to be needed, to be seen. I was sometimes, but mostly I was the background to your lives. I love you, I always will, but I'm not coming back to the role you gave me. If you want me in your life, it has to be as a person, a whole one." She sent it and turned off her phone. When she finally returned home months later, the house smelled of dust and jasmine. Carol had kept the plants alive. Helen walked from room to room, touching things she hadn't touched in a long time. The chipped bowl, Paul's photo on the mantel. She made tea and sat at the kitchen table, letting the silence settle. Amelia came first. She hugged Helen so tightly the older woman could feel the girl's heartbeat. "I missed you," Amelia said. "You look different." "I feel different," Amelia admitted. Amelia showed her a notebook. "I started one too. Things I refuse to inherit quietly." Helen read the list and felt something loosen in her chest. David and Laura came later. They stood in the doorway like strangers. David looked older, tired. Laura's hands were clasped tight. "We didn't mean to leave you out," Laura said. "We were afraid of your age. It reminded us of ours." Helen didn't rush to comfort them. She let the silence sit. "I know," she said finally, "but knowing doesn't change what happened." They sat. Helen made tea. They talked, awkwardly, haltingly. David admitted he'd read her notebook in one of the photos Amelia sent. "It hurt," he said. "Good, because it means you finally heard me." She didn't forgive them that day. Forgiveness wasn't a switch. It was a slow thawing. But she let them stay for dinner. She let them sit in the quiet she had lived in for years. Months later, she still wore the yellow scarf. Not every day, but often enough that it became part of her. She walked in the mornings, watered her own plants, called Rosalie on Sundays. She said no when she needed to. She said yes to things she wanted. She no longer apologized for taking up space. She no longer apologized for wanting more.